Say hi, everyone. Hello. Hi, they're at work with us today. Hello. Are you just like stuck in thought?
Sorry, what?
You're not an actor.
Well, got the second side of this fender set up. Passenger first, driver second. Oh, thank you, Lil.
Don't mind the dogs today. They're with us.
We got all three. We got some stuff going on the home front. Bring it home. Shadow, bring it in. Everybody, bring it in. Nope. They only do one at a time. It's interesting. Watch. You. Hey. Yeah, it's weird.
Anyway.
Competition.
We're obsessed with them.
It's obvious that I'm the ultimate source of affection. When you're not holding the camera, of course. We're going to try to put the center of this car together today. We're going to insert a picture of a Ferrari right here.
Boom.
I didn't even know that was the inspiration until I started looking up Can-Am race cars. I saw that at the Peterson Museum, a little display, and I know that that's where this big flat back and the spoiler came from. I don't remember what car I saw. It wasn't a Ferrari, but when I saw that red car, I was like, there it is. So obviously that car didn't have an engine in the back. One of them had a spare tire in the back, strangely enough, but so maybe that's sort of flavor, right? Let's go. All that inspiration aside, what we're up to today is to bring it all together. So I was thinking about how this is gonna turn out in the end. You know, you got this coming around and framing the carburetors. They're off because I got this structure in place. So I just put a flat piece of aluminum across the bottom to keep the fenders in plane. And then, this is all framed out around the mechanical stuff. So you could see what I was trying to get away from is the mechanical look in not much capacity, like a buggy. So I was thinking about framing the pulley, so you see that, and then kind of taking the focus off of this stuff. Lil, you back to the old times?
Aww.
I know. But there's only one white dog now. It's okay. Move over. We still have work to do. So.
Everybody wonders why we don't bring the dogs.
Lil. Come on. He's like, oh, a piece of foam. So I'm going to take this pulley off. I'm going to make a little strap to frame that first. So I don't know what tools we could use. A lot of times I'll use a round tube, like a 1-inch square. Sorry, I just confused myself because I crushed that pulley in the vise. So we're going to have to get a new pulley. This has a little thread on it. See the thread? That pushes the oil back into the engine. So I just ruined that one.
Oops.
But it's a great tool if we have to make another one of these things. I'm going to try to just pull something around that and see what happens. I'm going to try. Do we dare? Watch out, this might fling. I won't take no for an answer.
You're so strong.
All right. Surprised that worked. It was about to go wrong. You saw that kinking up. Yes. All right. So we'll just put this back on for mock-up because that is toast. Yeah, it won't even really go back on now because I fudged it up. But that's cool. So, see, this is what I'm thinking. Maybe that'll sit right here outside of that just to show the pulley. So now we're gonna have to come over with a cross piece. The idea is we want to cover the oil filter, so probably at this height here, maybe just showing the exhaust. So let me see what those heights are. So our pipes are 16. Yeah, 16 up. I'm gonna get 2 jack stands and set that up. Look at that, 16. Sweet. So we'll just have to put a little shim on that side.
Apologies for my shakiness today. This little lady loves to give love.
Yeah, she's all over.
Good girl.
Trying to create a visual line right here. See, that's kind of right through the center of that pulley. And it's just hiding those exhaust pipes. So what I'm getting at is that'll be covered. What do you think, Lil? Is this whole just gonna be a dog video?
The entire video. People have asked to see them.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Good girl.
Okay, so that just levels straight through. Cool. We can live with that. So, this is going to drop through. This will be cut out.
Oh, okay. I think I see what you're doing.
Yeah. But I think I'm going to build a roll pan right under here. We're going to keep that as wide as these exhaust pipes. Let's just see where we're at with that. I know I measured them at first, but this car's moved around quite a bit. We got 17.5 to center. We got, yeah, it's an inch off. 18.5 right there. Yeah. There it is. So I think we're gonna make this roll pan, we're gonna make it 36 inches. We could always trim it back. So we're gonna go 36.
Lil,
Come on.
we're going to have to lock you guys up in the office. Trying to do work here.
Lil. What do you think, dog?
No, she's being honoring.
We're gonna do 36 by 16. And we're gonna need a little extra to get in the roller. Let's do 36 by 22. Cut it out.
I think this will be our most popular video. What do you think, Blue?
They're rolling hard today. They are with us.
Yeah, they are. Smart girl. She got her butt by the heater. Good dog.
Been using a sheet metal brake as a table to cut. Works pretty good.
Is that a new thing, or have you always done that?
Just seemed right. Cool. All right, cut that out. Be right back. I'll put in the slip roller, see what we come up with. Not really sure how generic this is going to look. I'm trying to stay, sort of auto body design and not just like a, piece of utility sheet metal. Duct work, etc. So this might not work. There we go. Do I have everyone's attention?
Everybody. Oh.
Bring your dog to work day. All right, so I'm gonna put a little bit of a harder edge on this, because one thing I like to do, and I mentioned that just a second ago when I said utility. If you're building a piece of ductwork, it's not about the look at all. It's about the function. You're creating a tube, right? But ellipse, an elliptical shape is really going to sell it. Just like you'll see on the Zephyr fender, it's the teardrop. Just created a tight curve to a loose curve. That's going to be the difference between just a generic looking piece. Yeah, that's cool. A little bit more. This is very oversized, but that's what I was mentioning is, you know, you got to have some for the tool to grab. Yeah, so we'll hit it just like that. Cool. Yeah, so you can see the difference. This just rolls out, and that one goes whoop, right up to the top. So I'm not sure how much we'll need. Let's lay it on the car. Yeah, that'll work. I'm trying to just cover the engine as well. So looking at that piece, yeah, 7.5 will just do that. So I'm going to use this just as it's sitting. You got 6 3/4, 7.5. So you got to bring this up just a little bit and try to get it to balance. 6 3/4, 7.5. 6.5. There it is. Cool. I'm just going to send this right through to come back approximately 6 inches. Yeah, that'll do. So I'm going to come right to here. I'm just going to measure that. It's 8.5. I'm going to cut that. Widen these out considerably. I'm actually going to put a little tighter bend right here. Put that in, just a little harder bend right there.
So I put the dogs down for a nap.
Thank you.
So Ian could get work done.
So the engine, the heads are not in the same plane, so I'm trying to figure out a good landing spot. And it looks parallel with that oil filter. Now that I've jacked the pulley up. Oh, maybe I can get this back on there. We get a bopper. So the cylinders, they're forward on this side because they can't bang into each other. They're set up to do this. So this one's further back. So you can't measure off that. Got 1 and a smidge. So it's going to come back. Got 1 and 3/16. Cool. All right. So you can see here clearly how much further back this head is.
Oh, yeah.
Because they got a miss when they're on the crankshaft.
Oh.
Sweet.
So they're supposed to be like that.
Oh, yeah. Because you're not really familiar what goes on inside an engine, but there's pistons in here, and there's connecting rods. They look like little bones. So they're running in the engine like this.
Oh, so they have to miss one
One's
another.
ahead of the other, exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah, cool. So you see how that just kind of covers up everything visually?
Visually.
You know what? I'm kind of okay with that. I thought I was going to maybe, I'll probably cut these sides off, but I really thought that I was going to do a V shape, but I'm not. I'm going to put the center of this right on that crankshaft pulley and tack it on.
I think you should do that.
I like it. Because the theme of the back end, you see, it's very square-ish and flat across the back. It's a wagon style. So don't need a lot of streamlined action. 18 is the center. Put that on the pulley. I'll call that center right there. I'll be able to move it a little bit because I'm not committing to a whole lot just yet. That's exactly what I want to see. The area, here's my stink eye vision. I love this. See, I'm looking at the camera, it's going to be a little loose.
Okay.
But I want this to transition down. And then that kind of looks like a utility shelf. So we're going to work on that, but that radius is working. Gives the little engine a little room to wiggle and jiggle. You can still access the oil filter from underneath. I'm gonna cut in that little piece I made last, but I just wanted to get that in place before we started. Make sure nothing changed. We're at, it's 1 1/4. Yeah, cool. All right, so we gotta hang this somehow. And also got to be able to remove the engine. So that's part of what I was getting at. This is going to have to be removable. That's where the plot thickens. If you're going to create some kind of a structure.
Reminds me of the Starlux.
I'm glad you said that. If you remember the Starlux, this is where I was going. We ran out of time.
I love that car. Corey, I know you're watching. I love the Starlux. So cool. Anyway.
Yeah. All right, I have a die for 1-inch square tube. So I think we're going to put some stands on this. We're going to get these out of the way. We're going to cut the ends off of this. Put some stands on it and put it back in action. I wish I could just connect to there. I might. This is highly, highly irregular. I think I'm going to tack it right to that gland nut. Let me clean this up. So this is definitely not recommended if you're planning to drive the car anywhere. I'm trying to think how I can attach this just temporarily. And I could tack weld it to the exhaust, but that's stainless steel and it's really nice. So I'm just putting this nut in place. Let's tighten it a little bit. I'm going to tack weld the tab right to that, just temporarily. Because I have to support this off of the chassis. And that's a long way in. If you've seen any of those Baja Bug bumpers, they go under to the frame horns and come up with some structure. So we don't have that ability right now. We're all jigged up off the floor. We can't lift the car. Boom, right to the engine. That's my story. A bunch of people asked about this engine with the intakes being open and everything. And we've covered that. This engine is kaput. That's going to get us some controversy.
What do you mean it's kaput?
It's stuck. It doesn't rotate. Water in the other bug went down the intakes and rusted it. So probably the internals are good because they're full of oil, but pistons and cylinders.
Oh, so we got to get a new engine.
This gets a rebuild, yeah. So I bet I could just cut this off. Just let that sit there. You want to try it out? Feeling a little risky?
Yes.
And if it doesn't work, then I'll make 2 legs. But I bet it's gonna hold.
Yep.
All right, now we're getting somewhere.
Did it hold?
Hmm?
Did it hold?
Sure did.
Take me to Vegas, baby.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So I'm gonna put the 2 bender together and just see what the radius I could pull on this 1 inch. One of these days, Ian's gonna build a real tubing bender handle. Piece of old steel, collapsible steering shaft. When's this man gonna get some real tools? I'm not sure if we want to pull this 90 degrees. Let's take a look at those exhaust pipes, because maybe we'll match that. So look at this angle here. Right? I'm going to try to match that. Maybe this wraps and follows that. Let me get a piece of wire. Yeah. See, I just opened up this compass. So that's the angle we need. That'll work for both sides. Who listened to that? So fortunately, we're not even going to need to pull this much. Start over.
Now, are you able to, like, you pulled that too much? Are you able to re-straighten it if you wanted to?
Mm-hmm. Want to try?
Not really.
I'll try. I'll put it right there. A lot more. But see, it's starting to crunch up. It's not going to be a perfect unstretch. There's some tension in that piece. But it's going to be easier for me to just redo. Barely have to do a pull at all. Again, I was thinking about doing a 90-degree bend. That just looks like, you know, the edge of a table, edge of a file cabinet. All right. Lock it up. Well, let's pull. This will be a lot easier. Filmed in front of a live audience. Ow!
That's why I came over on this side.
Put the dogs away.
Yeah, and the dogs are napping. I did. I saw that thing. I was
This
like,
is why I can't have a job.
I was like, let me go on this side and see.
You can't be a mad scientist if you're sane. Think about that.
Thanks.
One more schmidge of inspiration. Schmidge. Trying to gauge how deep this needs to go into the car so I could just use the other half of this. So roughly. All the way. Got that. Yeah, looks like you can cut off right there. Yeah, I'll have enough. No, I won't. We got to use this piece.
Wait, so what just happened?
one of the things I was making a lot of mistakes on the TV show with was rushing like this. So I always try to save material. So I'll be like, okay, I'm going to cut this in half. I'm going to make the opposite end, but it's not going to be long enough.
Dang.
But, I mean, it's cool. We'll just use this. I was just trying to describe the errors of being hasty. Haste makes waste.
All right, well, come holler when you're done with this one. I'm going to go hang out with the dogs for a minute.
All right.
So basically, Ian just made a new one.
Did what?
I said, basically, you just made a new one.
Yes. Now we have two of the same. What I'm going to try to do is just get this to come in, because I think in the end, this is just going to close on these fenders. So there'll be some kind of fender welt or something in there. So this will pop off. This is just going to land on the surface for now. So looking at the angle we need, something that's reasonably comfortable to achieve. Yeah, so we need to pull this in another 3 inches minimum. So 3 inches from here. So let's just chop it off a little bit less than that. Just try that out. So what I'm saying is, if we're following the angle of that exhaust pipe, we need to cut this off super tight. Still, we're gonna have to come in from there. We need to come in another 2 3/4. From there, 2. That is just about right there. 2 1/2, 2 3/4. Cut off at that mark. Yeah. Just look straight down on this. See how that's angled?
I think so.
It's parallel to the exhaust. Yeah, cool. So see, this is all going to get cut off here.
Ah, okay. I think that's what's throwing me a little bit.
Yep. So with everything I build, you got to give a little to get a little. So that's what I was saying. I'm going to chop into that. Do the same on that side. Gonna cut this one in here. It doesn't matter where. I just chose that because that's how much material I had, but this will give this a lot more structure when I join it. Let's see what I'm ending up with. Somebody's gonna talk about that hitting this, but this is gonna come out. That's just so we have some dead set stops to fabricate off of. Like I want to take this and unbend it just a wee bit. Let me see why this is doing this. It's 16 3/4. Yep. Gotta unbend it just a hair. Exactly. See, now they're parallel. But I want this to come in close to the exhaust. See how this one is about a finger's width? So we're trying to get on both sides even. Fingers width. Cut that. We'll be there. I just wondered if I talked about this other fender in the beginning of the video.
No,
We're doing a bunch of other stuff.
I may
We'll start the video with that time
start
lapse.
the video with the time lapse. I don't know.
Circus music.
Past self is talking to future self right now.
Mm-hmm. Ain't got no gas in it.
I just asked Ian how he knew that it didn't have gas in it, and then he said,
First you heard that.
uh-huh.
See how these are a nice little blob?
Uh-huh.
You use the pointer. See, there's a nice little shiny blob of steel.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that one. It's all blown up.
Oh.
It oxidized. It burned up. It burned up entering the atmosphere. Literally. Hear that?
Yeah.
Clean. So I'm serious. It's creating its own atmosphere. CO2 and argon. You don't want to breathe that stuff. I mean, you can. It's just drown you. Minor. All right, cool.
The things I learn.
Science. So let's see how bad I screwed this up. We're gonna say, so that nut is spinning now. 16 3/4. Correct. And on these ends we got, oh look, it's the same. Amazing. Sometimes you luck out. All right, so we got this tray coming in, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to end without getting a cookie, without getting a reward. I'm going to have to think about this transition big time.
Yeah.
I want to get this pulley thing in shape. So I'm going to have to take this off now because I got a good mount. Everything's looking even. But I want to put it in the little hoo-ha, the little thingamajig, because that's going to be a trip. You'll see how it's going to change.
I'm excited.
I'm going to attach to these bolts here. Highly controversial move. I'm going to anchor off of these, because this is all aluminum, magnesium, who knows what. But the studs are steel. I'm going to tack to the exhaust studs and use those points of grab. See, that nut is spinning now that it got heated up. So I'm just going to try to grab it for real. Keep everything in check. Good thing about these exhaust studs is they unscrew. So with this added heat, they should just pull right back out of the casting. No problemo. That is the story of sculpture. Back and forth, back and forth. Now we can access that because it's locked up on these sides. Okay. So now we take this and do a quick chop in the saw because we don't need this huge walking stick.
It's like a shepherd's cane.
Something about Bo and her peep. All right, so I'm just kind of eyeballing. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put this right on top. I'm just gonna take a look right across here. I'm gonna make a mark at my eye level. Right? Now I can flip that. Set that where I was just looking at it. Can you dig?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make a small cut. I'm gonna cut on the inside. Right through there. I'm gonna cut that out and see what happens. I'm just gonna eyeball it into center. So that looks pretty close. I mean, you could just give a little bit to that side.
Mm-hmm.
But the height looks good. So now, let me come back. I'm gonna look at this. Yeah, just like that. Cool. So I'm gonna draw it wide on the outside of this. Now I'm gonna creep up on it. I'm gonna see what has to happen because we don't need, see how I had to cut straight through here to get the big tube out of the way?
Mm-hmm.
This is just gonna be sitting somewhere in that area. So we don't gotta cut that whole tube out. You can just nip in. It's gonna go that way just a little bit. Cool. It's definitely gonna work. There it is. So, camera might not be able to grab it, but I'm trying to put my eyeball right on line with that center pulley. So I'm seeing a perfect gap between these 2 points by spinning that. Right there. Cool. So it's coming too far out here, so I need to get this out of the way right there. To cut that back, make a mark there. I need to cut in here. Actually, I could probably just take that and twist it with these. No, I'm gonna distort the whole thing. Just walking up on it, I could see I like what I'm looking at. Because again, it's showing off the whirly spinning parts. It's gonna be a quick tack and cut, and that's the center. I'm just rolling this sheet metal over the edge of this tube. See how I'm pulling it? A little bit can opener style. I'm just going to get a grab and then start hammering it. All right, so that's a good idea about what's going to happen. In the end, this is going to move rearward just a bit, so I'm not putting this in yet. This is going to have a little trough that just kind of makes, you know, the body appear to fall into the engine, sort of. But that distance has yet to be determined, and if there's a little wobble, I don't want it to hit, so we're going to do that last. That's good for the center, 2 sides in the center. The transitions are going to be the hardest part. So stay tuned.